So, Double or Nothing is all over, and the next stop for AEW is Forbidden Door. Of course, on the New Japan things, you got the Dominion pay-per-view coming up in a couple of weeks, and then from there, both sides are going to be focusing on Forbidden Door, and it's going to be a pretty interesting pay-per-view. I'm really looking forward to this pay-per-view. I think there's so much potential there, but both sides, like AEW is already like stuffed with talent, and some guys like Jay White might not make the card, might make the card, or they'll be thrown in the at just a random tag team. But like, take Jay Lethal, like he hasn't been on a pay per view in AEW in a while, so like some people are gonna sit out, and that's the unfortunate truth behind having such a big talent between both promotions. So we'll see what they do, but nevertheless, it's not like this might be a one night only thing. Now that like COVID restrictions are lifted and maybe Wrestle Kingdom, you have AEW talent at Wrestle Kingdom, and I know Jericho has been very vocal about settling aside the differences and just let's do a cross promotion show. So I'm really interested to see what they do here. For starters, I don't think Jay White is going to beat Okada, and I think it's going to be Okada versus Punk. That would be an amazing match. You're talking about like the two biggest the champs, right? And that should be a very exciting match. I can see that definitely being the main event. I guess some alternatives, like the other rumor, obviously, well, maybe not rumor, but the other speculation is people want to see Kenta versus Punk, obviously because of the GTS versus the GTS. But I don't know. I think you can do that later. I think off the gate you need to start strong for something like Punk, and not to say Kenta versus Punk wouldn't be strong, but Kenta versus Okada is on another level. That's like the dream match or whatever. And I know in Punk's interviews before he returned, he mentioned like facing Okada. He doesn't really know many talent, but yeah, he's heard of Okada, and I think there's a lot of potential there. Um, what are some other matches I wonder that are going to be in the card? I kind of jotted down a rough list, but yeah, the problem is I'm a little behind on my New Japan talents. I don't really watch New Japan Strong. And then there's the other thing is like there's so much wrestling, or how do you keep up with it all? And then yeah, I don't think I've watched any New Japan since Wrestle Kingdom. So I don't know what's really going on. I know some things, like I know Zack Sabre Jr. won the cup there, and does that mean the Dangerous Techers are no more and they kind of split their ways and Zack Sabre Jr. is in like the main event scene now? Don't really know. Can't really tell you, but I do know like also one of the something happened with the Gorillas of Destiny. I don't know. I know one of them is the never open weight champion, so I imagine that the other one is injured, and that's not happening. Because, like, the Young Bucks are going to obviously have a match at the pay per view. And I'm just thinking, like, Bucks versus GOD. What better match can you make? And if you can't do the GOD, who else do you do? Do you do Jeff Cobb and Great O'Khan? Maybe? I don't know. I don't know really any other options for the Bucks in terms of tag teams, but like I said, I'm a little rusty on my New Japan know-how on what's in the go right now. So I don't know. What about I know one thing that's probably not going to happen on both sides, but I really want to. I would love for Kenny Omega to return, and then he comes back as a face, and like he's getting beat down by insert random heels. Could be anybody for this case, and it's going to be a mystery opponent, and Kenny Omega versus the random heels I mentioned, and boom, there you do. You do Kota Ibushi coming to make the aid, and you have a Golden Lovers reunion. That would be absolutely amazing. And I think everybody wants that. And to have Kenny Omega not involved with the Forbidden Door pay per view, which is very looking like a strong possibility due to his injuries not recovering fast enough, I guess. Like, definitely a little sad about that. And of course, everything with Kota Ibushi, all the like backstage politics and drama that are going on. I think he's also like his shoulder is like injured, and I think that he's like he needed shoulder surgery, but he didn't get it. So it just seems like both of them on the Kota side and the Ibushi side and the Omega side, sorry, is we're not going to get that Golden Lovers reunion. But one reunion we might get is like Andrade. He got Roosh, and he wants to change his name of his stable. And what a perfect opportunity with the next pay-per-view being the Forbidden Door, where you have NATO and you have it like an LIJ, well, not LIJ, just LI reunion, right? Like, that'd be beautiful. Who doesn't want to see that? That'd be absolutely awesome. I don't know how you implement that into a match or a story or anything, but if the opportunity's there, let's go. That'd be awesome. Some other notes I wrote down were what about like I think like obviously you're gonna have like not just one versus one like Omega versus New Japan versus AEW, New Japan versus AEW. I think the best way to go about it is you have a combination of like one member of New Japan teaming with another member of of AEW versus one heel of New Japan and one heel of AEW. And yeah, I think that's what you're gonna see. You're gonna see like the undisputed Bullet Clubs like Jay White and Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly and stuff versus Darby Allin. I don't know if Sting will be back by then. I guess that's where you can throw Mox in, you can throw Bryan in, and just have a huge match. Maybe you can throw Tanahashi in there, and that's the other thing. What do you do with Tanahashi? I think a very fitting storyline would be Tanahashi versus MJF. Just not the storyline of loyalty, and you have like the face of New Japan and Tanahashi, the golden poster boy of New Japan versus MJF, who's like one of the biggest original New Japan talent, but we all know the drama that's going on there with him wanting to leave the company and go to WWE in 2024 and demanding more money and just causing a lot of beef. And I don't think it's a work, but I guess there's a possibility, a very slim chance. I know it was announced today that MJF will be on Rampage. And yeah, I just think there's a good story there. Someone who's not being so loyal to AEW and his company versus somebody who is loyal to his company and Tanahashi. And yeah, I guess the one issue with that, you would need some sort of like MJF is all about the mic work, right? And Tanahashi, like for the American audience, you would need some sort of like mouthpiece of somebody to kind of sell some sort of a story. So yeah, we'll see what they do with Tanahashi though. But if you're not going to do with MJF, and MJF is off the card for the foreseeable future, like all the reports are saying, I have no idea what you do with Tanahashi. Like I said, you can either throw him in some kind of match with Undisputed Era and Bullet Club, or you can do something else. And I don't know what that something else is. Like, if I've already gone through Bryan, I've already said Moxley, I've already said CM Punk, and Tanahashi needs to be somebody big. I guess there's the possibility of Jericho, but like they've already had a match at Wrestle Kingdom, and out of all the talents that AEW has, give me something I haven't seen. So we'll see what they do there. Yeah, other than that, like I said, there's so many talent. You got Shingo, who had an amazing like year last year, spent half the year as champion. Zack Sabre Jr. if he is a main event. You got Keith Lee, you got the Hardy Boys, but Jeff probably not going to be working by the seams of it. You got Aleister Black and House of Black. You got Sammy Guevara. I guess you can do Tanahashi versus Guevara if you're not going to do MJF. What about Osprey? That's a huge name. So like I guess might make sense instead of like you have another like Tanahashi and throw in some faces there versus the Empire and have some honorary Empire member from New Japan, or you can do like Empire and Sammy Guevara versus Tanahashi and whoever else, like Lucha Bros or Jungle Express can be in there. Kenta, if Kenta's not facing Punk, do you just throw him in some like Bullet Club multi-man tag match? Do you have like Battle Royals? And like, yeah, Jericho, one of the biggest names involved, right? Like, he also needs a big match, and I guess you can do. What about Jericho versus Shingo? That would be a pretty crazy match, I think. But like, you got the whole Jericho storyline with the sports entertaining versus someone like Shingo who's like stiff and stuff. I would love that kind of thing. So yeah, I don't know. Very clustered pay per view either way, and I really am excited for it. I think this might be the best pay per view of the year. It very well could be. So what do you guys think? What do you think some of the matches will be? What are your expectations of this match? Do you think this will be a one-time deal, or will this be like ongoing, yearly? Like, will AEW stars appear in next year's Wrestle Kingdom? What about some of the other talents I never named? I never named Ishii. I never named like so many talent, right? It's a pretty endless list. Never mentioned any of the junior heavyweights. And yeah, do you have some of the women from one of the promotions? Like, do you bring in Kairi Sane to have her face Britt Baker or something? Or do you have no women at this pay per view? I don't know. Either way, it's going to be an interesting build, and I think this might be one of the better hype times for AEW, and I'm really looking forward to see what happens. So, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Please like, subscribe, and sub to the channel.